We have no surviving records about the early ancient Rome, especially about the Roman kingdom. The first records about the Roman kings comes from Livy, 500 years later after it had happened, which means we don't know if any part of this history has any historical truth to it. The list of Roman consuls seems to be a first historical record which may provide us with some clarity over Rome's early history. But there are so many discrepancies and gaps between lists of Roman consuls that we have little knowledge of whether consuls from the beginning of the Republic to the Second Punic War are real or not. The city of Rome may have been conquered much more times than records tell us. There are some signs that Etruscans conquered the Eternal City after Romans had founded the Republic, and that maybe the last king Tarquinius was reinstated as a Roman king. Also, the Gallic sack of Rome may have been months lasting occupation and not only a brief plundering as Roman annals tell us. Regarding the Etruscans, except for the fact that they had a huge influence on the ancient Rome, we still have very little knowledge about them. The main reason is that even today we have not been able to fully translate the Etruscan language, even though we have over 12,000 inscriptions. The great help could have been the book about the Etruscan history written by Emperor Claudius, but the book is lost forever. When the First Punic War against Carthage broke out, the Romans did not know much about naval warfare, so they came up with a naval invention called corvus. There are many today's drawings that show us that it was basically a boarding bridge, but those are just assumptions. The truth is, we have no historical inscriptions of how corvus looked like. It may have also been some kind of a harpoon. Also, we don't know if it was as efficient as some conceptions suggest. It may have also been just a burden to the ship carrying it. The famous Hannibal's crossing of the Alps. Although memorable, we have very little evidence of how it occurred. The exact place where he crossed the Alps remains mystery. While it is assumed that 20,000 of his soldiers perished in the Alps, as well as 39 elephants, we have no archaeological evidence of where that happened. You'd think that finding skeletons of 39 elephants in Alps is no match for today's technology, but here we are. We don't know where Alesia is located. The famous battle site where Vercingetorix was defeated by Julius Caesar in 52 BC remains mystery. Unfortunately, Gallic wooden oppidums usually do not provide us with archaeological remains. We don't know where the famous Battle of Teutoburg Forest, in which 3 legions were butchered in an unexplored territory by Germans in AD 9, happened. The battle lasted 3 days because the Roman legions were constantly moving, attempting to escape the Germanic ambush. Which means that Roman remains are scattered within a radius of 50 kilometers, which makes any excavation process difficult. Some accounts attribute the location of the battle in Kalkriese in Osnabrück. The site indeed shows signs of a massive battle, like shifted layers of clay, quickly buried human remains, coins that don't exceed the year 9. However, this location is a well-known pass, neither inaccessible nor unknown to the Romans. It is therefore assumed that it can also be a battle site of unsuccessful Germanic ambush from the year 15, where the legate Aulus Caecina, with his 4 legions, fell into a trap and barely managed to escape. One thing about the site of the Teutoburg battle is certain. We don't know. Much of the rule of the famous Emperor Trajan remains a mystery. A huge chunk of his rule was filled with successful military campaigns against Dacia and Persia. Neither of we have any surviving records, and we are left with just small fragments of Cassius Dio's book as the main source for the history of Trajan's rule. We don't know what happened with the 9th Legion Hispania. The legion disappears from Roman records after 120, and there is no account of what happened to it. In 212, Emperor Caracalla issued an edict called Constitutio Antoniniana that declared that all free men in the Roman Empire were to be given full Roman citizenship. It is ironic that ancient historiography did not pay much attention to this important decision, and therefore we can only fathom what the real intention of the edict was. Tax increase? Romanization? We don't know. We don't know what happened with Emperor Valerian when he was captured by Persians in 260. Some accounts claim he lived a peaceful life in a captivity. Some maintain that he died shortly after being captured. But others claim that he served as a footstool to the Persian king Shapur and was either forced to swallow malted gold or was flayed alive. Since King Shapur was a degenerate sick fuck, I think the last option is the most probable. But unfortunately, we don't know. This one is useful when you get approached by a Roman casual who will explain to you that he read on BuzzFeed that thumbs up actually means death and thumbs down means live. I have seen many news articles about this topic over the years, and every time it really varies on what the gestures are. That I think that we should abandon this dumb topic with the we don't know answer. Gothic menace proved to be a challenging threat to the Roman Empire in the 3rd century that almost caused empire's collapse. But thanks to Emperor Gallienus, Romans managed to destroy Goths in the Battle of Nessus in 268. Oh wait, or was it called Battle of Nasus? But wasn't this one fought in 269 and not 268? If so, then in 269 Gallienus was already dead, which means that Romans were led by Claudius II at the time. Or weren't those 2 battles and not 1? The truth is, we don't know.
Buster, straight buster.
Ah, the famous bust of Aurelian. Or is it Claudius II? To be honest, it kinda resembles Emperor Probus. The answer again is, we can say. Because almost all portraits from the 3rd century on are undistinguishable. Combination of 2 reasons causes this: deterioration of sculpture art and the fact that majority of emperors from Hadrian to Constantine liked beards, making them all look similar. The crisis of the 3rd century is filled with many gaps, sometimes very significant. And there is another important gap in the life of Emperor Carus, regarding his possible conquest of Ctesiphon and his own death. English Wikipedia says he may have conquered the Persian capital. Iranian says he indeed conquered it, but Arabic claims he was killed right outside of the city by his own army, which then retreated back. His cause of death also varies. Either he was assassinated, killed in battle, struck by lightning, or he died of natural causes. In 326, Constantine the Great traveled to Rome to celebrate his 20-year anniversary of his emperorship. But on his way back to Rome, he suddenly ordered execution of his firstborn son Crispus and wife Fausta. There are some rumors of an affair between Crispus and his stepmother, or that they plotted against the emperor, but no one will be able to find out because the great Constantine subjected his wife and son to a damnatio memoriae, condemnation of memory, which means that all mentions of their names were erased. Another big mystery is why Fausta's sons did nothing to rehabilitate their own mother when they became emperors. When Attila was defeated in the Battle of Catalonian Plains, it marked a significant moment in the Western history, but that moment is filled with so many questions. Why Attila attacked the Western Rome when they had always maintained good relationship? Why Attila attacked the West when Eastern Emperor had ceased paying tribute to the Huns? How did the Pope Leo convince the angry Mongoloid goblin not to sack Rome in 452? So many questions, so few answers. The fate of the last Roman emperor Romulus Augustus remains unknown. After he was deposed, young lad was allegedly sent to Campania, and a sum of 6,000 solidi was given to him annually. But no other surviving records describe what happened to him next. The one huge we don't know is the Colosseum. No, not this Colosseum. The original one. Yes, the 30-meter tall bronze statue of Nero, which is now lost with no remnants. What happened to it? Sometime after the last certain mention of the Colosseum statue from 354, we start to lose track of what inscriptions attribute to an existence of Colosseum statue and Colosseum amphitheater. The research to find a date or at least a period of time when Colosseum statue got destroyed and the name Colosseum fell on the amphitheater is pretty difficult, since Colosseum amphitheater never got an official name. So we don't know how and when that happened. And that's number 20. I don't want to leave you confused, so here is one thing we do know about the ancient Rome. It was awesome.